Hey guys, I just wanted to put a little disclaimer before the video starts as to what you can expect from my content. Just got some notes here. Obviously, I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the most qualified, but I hope sort of what you can get from my content is additional information that'll help you progress in your gym journey, whatever sort of goals you're hoping to achieve. Hopefully, I can provide a little bit of info to sort of push you in the right direction. I put a poll on my Instagram yesterday for my current followers for suggestions or what they would like for me to post or for what they want to see. And the response we got back was I didn't get many responses, but the main response was a breakdown of my exercise program. So that's what we'll be doing today. I currently run a 4-day split. I've been running it for ages, and it's push, quads, pull, and then glutes and hammies, and of course calves on both those leg days. The reason I run a 4-day split means I don't need rest days. There's a few other reasons I guess that we'll sort of get into, but the biggest one is that if I run a full leg day where I do glutes and hammies, quads and calves, first of all I'll be there for 2 hours, which I'm not a fan of, and also I don't have the energy to get myself through a full leg day. So I've always split it up, and I find I get good results, good strength gains from doing that. So yeah, but the program is constantly changing. I substitute in exercises that I'm looking forward to, or that I'm sort of feeling on the day. If someone's using a machine that I want to use at that particular time, I'll often just go and do something else that hits the same target muscle group in the same way, just on a different machine or a different movement. So yeah, look, the program's constantly changing, but I'll sort of guide you in the direction. Hopefully you can learn what exercises to substitute in for what, when to change it up. I'll give you some good tips on exercise selection, so you're not doing any kind of junk volume. So I'm looking down because Rocky's down here rolling in the gravel. Yeah, try to avoid junk volume, so you get the right exercise selection, stuff like that. And also, from watching the videos, you can, I guess, break down my form and try and replicate it. I always try and, best science-based, evidence-backed form we can get. But anyway, let's hop into it. Thanks for viewing, and swipe through to see the next couple of videos. Cheers. Okay, hopping straight into it with 3 minutes on the bike to warm up. Don't forget to measure the seat height against your hip to get the leg length right. Just rolling the legs over at about 70 to 80 RPM. The goal here is to increase heart rate to about 150 or 160 beats per minute and prepare ourselves for the rest of the workout. Next up is calf raises. I like to put these at the start and end of my workout because my calves are severely lacking in proportion to the rest of my body. So putting the first and last helps me get the volume I need to promote growth. The evidence behind standing calf raise is that when the leg is straight, the gastrocnemius and soleus both engage to move the weight, rather than if you're doing a seated calf raise, it is largely focusing on the soleus. So for muscle hypertrophy and growth stimulus, calf raises are the go-to, or standing calf raises are the go-to. Form is important, so you'll see I like to get a full stretch at the bottom with my heels almost touching the ground, and then come up, focusing on keeping the weight on the balls of my feet and not rolling my ankles outwards. Rep ranges for calf raises, the evidence says between 8 and 20. So I err on the side of caution and go 20 because they are a very strong muscle and very hesitant to grow. Seated leg curls are up next, and I throw these in before my compound movement just to make sure that my posterior chain is properly warmed up. I bang out 3 sets of 10 on this one, with each set going to complete failure with a couple of lengthened partials in there as well. The lengthened partial is just when you're in the most stretched position of the movement and just doing baby reps to get that last little bit of growth stimulus out of the exercise. Use the handles to push you back into the seat and arch your lower back as well for a greater stretch on the hamstrings and more growth. A staple of any leg day now, squats. I have these programmed for 5 sets of 5, and the reason I do that is because I'm trying to train my central nervous system for more force production. Of course, the size of your muscle is a big factor in how much weight you can move, but the ability for the brain to send the signal to the muscle to produce the force is another contributing factor as well. Because the central nervous system fatigues so quickly, the best way to train it is to train heavy with low weight and explosive movements, so getting the weight up as quickly as you possibly can. I always have a timer set for 2 minutes between my sets, because 2 minutes is the amount of time I've deemed is enough for recovery without being overly fatigued and zoning out between sets. Moving on to the seated hip abduction. When I do these, I always lean back to put the focus on the glute max, as opposed to when you see people leaning forward and putting the focus on the glute medius. the glute medius sits above the glute max, closer to your lower back, and helps create that shelf that everyone's looking for, something to hang your pants on. I've already got too much of a shelf, so I'm just training the glute max to create a more whole looking set of glutes. Now, I know I'm contradicting myself here by doing seated calf raises, but there is a reason behind it. And the reason is I really like the anterior tibialis raise in conjunction with the seated calf raise. So you do the seated calf raise as you would a standing calf raise, but keeping the weight on the balls of your feet and getting a full stretch at the bottom of the movement. Again, my philosophy with calf raises is that you should have a lot of weight with high reps. So I'm doing 60 kilos here for 20 reps. We then switch immediately to the anterior tibialis raise. And the reason I do this is not because I want to grow the muscle to be big, but it plays a vital role in knee and ankle stability. So if you're recovering from any kind of ankle or knee injury, this should be a staple in your recovery. So I do it now to prevent any sort of ankle or knee injuries that might come forward. The anterior tibialis is a lot different to the calves and will fatigue very quickly with not very much weight. So I've got 20 kilos here for 12 to 15 reps on each leg, and that is more than enough for growth stimulus.